Good evening, people. I could say, people, are you ready? Oh, Lord. Good to see everybody. The usual thing is to let people know that tonight we're going to have a great, fantastic, brilliant evening of entertainment that is guaranteed. And your presence makes it all worthwhile, because there's nothing worse than doing a great show to no audience. So the audience makes it all possible and makes it all worthwhile. Welcome. Good to see you. Have a great evening. Turn off your mobile phones. Put them on silent. We can take photographs, but you can't announce that you're going to take photographs. Welcome to Lambeth Libraries, and welcome to Brixton in particular. I'm going to just say we are very happy to introduce to you two important people in our calendar. The first is the brother Tippa Irie. One of our icons, ICON, and the only person I've seen with that name is on their gravestone. I've said this before, but I marvel at it, and it's really good to see the brother with the lean mouth and the tilt hat, Desmond Decker. On his gravestone in Streatham Cemetery, it says ICON, icon. And I think that is a great tribute and accolade. Well, we have our icon living here with us and going to be entertaining us today. And also deservedly, somebody of 40 years standing within the reggae music, and somebody who has brought reggae music to international acclaim and brought reggae music to the attention even of the Jamaican greats who have seen the music of reggae music of the UK be returning back home. We will hear more about that, because we're going to have Eddie Nestor, who is a broadcaster, TV, radio presenter, and also an icon in his own right today to do in person, like an interview with Tippa Irie later on. So that will come. Our apologies must be communicated from Alex Wheatle, who some of you would have been expecting to see tonight. He's unwell, but he will appear. He sent his apologies, and he will be with us for our Black History Month program in October, so you won't have long to wait, and I think he's coming out with his memoir. So he sent his apologies, and he said enjoy the show in his absence. I'm going to sign off now, and then really just ask you to give another welcome to Tippa Irie, and make you appreciate why we consider him to be one of our greats amongst us. Well, you know already, you are here. So big hand and welcome to Brother Tippa Irie.
Yeah. Check one. Let me see. Check one, two. Check 1, 2. All right. Good evening, everybody. Oh, my God. I've wrote a book, people. I'm used to writing lyrics, you know. I'm a songwriter. I've been writing lyrics since I was, I guess, about 16. And now, you know, we've kind of, you know, we have to keep, you know, pushing ourselves and reinventing ourselves and going into different genres and different, you know, places of the unknown. And this was an unknown for me. So I hope you enjoyed the book. I've given it my all. Me and my friend Mark is sat there. Can you give him a round of applause? Stand up, Mark. Mark Wallace. Many sleepless nights. Sleepless nights. That's my captain over there. He helped me through this book, you know, so I really appreciate his help. Also, Valerie Brandis here. Stand up, Val. Come on. Valerie. She published the book, you know, and I thank you, Valerie, for, you know, believing in our, you know, our conversation and our, you know. So bless you. Well, I'm going to do my day job now, and I hope you appreciate. I'm going to sing 3 songs that I've chosen. One of them is a song that I believe changed my life. When I say changed my life, it kind of made me like a household name within the community. Yeah, and then it took me abroad and made me, go to Jamaica, do Reggae Sunsplash, and all these different places that I would never think, being in my dad's basement, at 56 East Lake Road, not too far from around here, Flaxman Road. Yeah, there's my brethren. He's from there as well. Yeah. And then you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know where it's gonna go, where it's gonna lead. But the music has taken me around the world, and I give thanks for that. And I really appreciate you guys coming here today and supporting me and supporting my book. Lynn, that's better. You remember this one? All right, if you remember, sing the words, sing the chorus. Big up Yaffa, big up yourself, my brethren. It goes. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. 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 Well, in the USA, I was out walking. A little young girl I was seeking. I see a young girl, she started smiling. I walked over, we started talking. I said, hi, babe. She said, how are you keeping? I said, I'm cool. I'm just doing my own thing. She said, hey, man, I hear you are the in thing. You're Tippa Irie from that Saxon sound system. I said, babe, this is my first time in foreign. She said, how about we just make it interesting? I said, there's one thing I want to do, my darling. We can go home and have a quiet evening. And have a meal, that's very finger licking. And strictly champagne, that's what we'll be drinking. Well, in the next verse, I'll carry on explaining. But right now, I want everybody to sing the words. You remember. Hello, darling, hello. Hello, darling, hello. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. Now this girl I met, her name was Catherine. She had her own place in downtown Brooklyn. She'll take a cab, or do you fancy walking? She said, just cool, my car's around the next turning. Or when she said that, I started smiling. Coming home and find a gal with a few shilling. Jumped in a car and then we started driving. Before I knew it, outside her place we were parking. Inside her flat it was devastating. To be quite honest, it was truly amazing. I put my feet up and started relaxing. After a while, I started thinking, what does this girl do for a living? She said, Tippa, man, I don't do nothing. I was left $1 million by my uncle Marvin. So I jumped up out the chair, where a kiss. Let me hear you sing, come on. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. 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 Hello, darling. Press Q on that hello, darling, there, Lynn. Thank you. All right. So, have we got stick to my roots there now? All right. That's my manager, Lynn, All right. So give Lynn a round of applause. She flew all the way from California to be here. All right. Yeah, she's the one that make sure you tip up, make sure you did it, Make sure you turn up on time. Make sure you this, make sure you that. And she's efficient. That's why she's employed. All right. I'm joking. Yeah, but that's my manager, Lynn. She takes care of all of the dog work. The work. She does the real work. The admin. Anyway, listen. One of my favorite albums that I ever did was Stick to My Roots. It's an album that I done called Stick to My Roots. And because we went through a lot of trials and tribulations with the name of the book, because I was going to call it It's Good to Have the Feeling You're the Best. Yeah? Which I think is a good title. And it's not just about me. It wasn't just about that song. Back in the days, Lorna will tell you. Yeah? That's Lorna G there, one of another icon. Yes? Not just an actor, but an MC like me. Yeah? And what we used to always have to say, yeah, you know what, we're the best. I'm the best. So it's not a arrogant thing. Is MCs, when we were growing up and when we was coming through, we had to push ourselves through and give ourselves the inner strength and say that, you know what, me are the best, you know. And nobody no better than me. But really, I wrote the song about Saxon sound system because I believed that the sound was the best. Because when you think of the caliber of artists that came from the sound, you have people like Papa Levi, Smiley Culture, you know, Asher Senator. You have people like Maxi Priest, you know, Roger Robin, Neville Morrison. All these guys have had #1 tunes. And they all came from Saxon sound system. And there's a lot more like my sister Miss Irie, Daddy Colonel, Daddy Rusty, Daddy Sandy, the Sugar Merchant, who's a singer from Manchester that used to be on the sound, Deadly Serious. There's a lot of artists that came from the sound that, you know, really elevated us. We all pushed each other, you know, to become what we've become today. So I really appreciate Saxon sound system. You know, because Dennis Rowe and Lloyd Francis, they gave us the platform to do what we were doing, you know, and Cecil from King Tubby's as well gave me a platform at the beginning, and there was loads of other sounds like Sir Lloyd, Nasty Rockers, all these sound systems. We used to just go to the dance them. Wherever the dances them would go, we as entertainers, we would just go there and perform and push our, and just because we wanted to be seen. And then after a while, from being on the sound system, then record labels, because of the movement that became Saxon sound system, the record labels became interested in what we were doing. I should wait till I'm speaking to Eddie before I do this, innit? I feel like I'm doing an interview on my own. But anyway, you know, listen, stick to my roots. Well, I gotta stick to my roots. Because, you know, without the roots, there's no foundation. Stick to my roots. Make sure you get your copy. Here you go. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. Come and say all kind of music I fi play every day, and that's why they tip me still love the reggae. No matter what them do, ain't no matter what them say. You know say in a me house reggae music I fi. Well if I dance I'll beat all the stepper. No matter which one, it make me feel much better. And then you fling on the sweet lovers rock. You know Tippa feel it in the one. That's why I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. They are many from your little bikini. Feel the beat and harmony from the great Sly and Robbie, Lee Perry and King Jamie, Joe Gibbs and Mr. King Toby. Make we dance and make we free like the bird up in the tree. Channel 1 scientists make the music sound so crisp. Back in bad and roots radix, music that you can't resist. 9 a.m. me bridging with them call strike Ali. They say who they pan the mic and on it. I said I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. Listen. I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots. I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots. I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots. I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots, I roots. Because me now water down and me now dilute. Me done tell you say me have to speak up the truth. Mr. Irie me done radical from me a youth. And that's why the DJ have to stick to me road. And sometimes it's better you stick to what you know. You build a foundation and make it grow. I tell you say you reap up well what you sow. And that's why the roots tip and not let him. That's why I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My wee reggae roots. Come me say all kind of music I fi play every day. And that's why the tip me still love the reggae. No matter what them do and no matter what them say. You know say in a me house reggae music I fi. Well if I dance all beat and the step on. No matter which one it make me feel much better. And then you fling on the sweet lovers rock. You know Tippa feel it in the one. That's why I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My reggae roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. My reggae. Well, everybody say roots. Say rock. Say reggae. Listen, my people, I really thank you again for coming. You know that from your black, you're African. Straight. Right? Peter Tosh said, from you's a black man, he's an African. So if you're white, put your hands up in the air. I'm putting you on the spot. Right. Are you proud of where you're from? Put your hands up in the air. This lady don't look like she's sure. You're not proud of where you come from? All right. If you're proud to be black, let me see your hands up in the air. All right. If you're proud of where you come from, let me see your hands up in the air. So that should be everybody. Just imagine that I said, did you have a bath or a shower today? If you had a bath or a shower today, let me see your hands up in the air. All right. Because that should be everybody, because cleanliness is next to godliness. So if you don't wash your face, you're nasty. And if you don't brush your teeth, you're nasty. If your mouth full of cheese, don't talk to me, please. Simple. All right? But listen, this song is my latest album. It's called I Am an African. And I am proud of where I'm from. My ancestors are African. My parents are from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, Trelawney. And I was born here in London. So this song is a song that is very deep for me. That's why I call the album this. So listen to the lyrics. I'm just going to do it a cappella for you, yeah? I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican. And I grew up in a London, so I know where I'm coming from. I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm going. It's a positive energy. I keep on showing respect myself, respect my roots, and respect my ancestor. Can't forget Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Robert Nestor. Teach us to unify and pray for one another. Teach us to unify and love one another. One heart, one aim, and one destiny. That's how me want in the community. So I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so I know where I'm coming from. I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so I know where I'm coming from the natural continent, the motherland with natural resources, minerals and diamonds. Anything you plant, well, you know it have to grow. Africa, it is a place where everybody want go. Like Addis Ababa, in Ethiopia, Lagos, Nigeria, Nairobi, Kenya, Azerbaijan, in the Ivory Coast. Well, of them, the place them want visit the most. My ancestors were captured, taken to Jamaica by the British and the Spanish colonial masters. In 1962, them get them independence, and them fly come a Brixton for pound and pence. So I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so I know where I'm coming from London, place of the Cockney slang, place of the lovers rock, crime and the jungle is place for the Roman queens in the Buckingham, fish and chips and egg and bacon, rainy, cloudy, enough taxation, House of Commons and enough politician, and a lot of institutional racism. Thank you. Yeah. Lyrics. Okay. Can we have the lady from Jacaranda? I think it's your time now. Don't be shy, Nikki. Come forth.
Hello, everyone. Let's try this again. Hello, everyone. Energy. Thank you. So, hi, I'm Nikki Guerrero from Jacaranda Books. We are the publisher of Tippa's memoir. I'm so excited to have published Sticks to My Roots, which is officially out tomorrow. So you're getting, a little early grab of the book today, which is fantastic. So thank you all so much for coming out today and supporting Tippa, or continuing to support Tippa and his amazing 40-year career. Wow, absolutely amazing, like 40 years, yes. So of course, after that performance, I'm here to bring it back to books because, well, we're trying to sell books, guys, really, no, I'm kidding. But we want you to just welcome Eddie Nestor, who's going to be in conversation with Tippa Irie today about this fantastic memoir, his career, and just the journey to writing this phenomenal book. As you might know or maybe not know, Eddie Nestor is a radio presenter, a host, a compare, master of ceremonies, comic, actor, charity fundraiser, and writer. So he's done everything. And today he's going to speak to Tippa Irie and give us a more, fitting intro to Tippa Irie. So can I have you come on stage today, Eddie?
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do a song from my second album. We would clear this building. It's very I'm going to ask Tippa later on to do that song to the actual. While he's there, he can maybe cue it up. Because I remember that in lockdown, we used to have this thing called No Joke. And I used to play some music online. And I remember hearing that song, and I remember messaging him and said, give me a copy of that song. I think it's a tremendous song. It's fantastic. And I think if you play it with the music and do it at the end, then people will get a real vibe of how brilliant that song is. In truth, I'm a bit nervous about tonight. I'm not nervous about interviewing Tippa. I'm nervous about being in Brixton. Yeah, you know how it is. As soon as I come out of the tube, I smell incense. So now I know I'm in Brixton because I smell incense. Okay, so look, we do this properly. We honor people. We're big people up. We respect people, and I'm jealous because he's got it out. And, it's something I've always wanted to do. So I'm jealous and I'm proud. And it's an honor to be here. A powerhouse, an icon, the OG, instrumental in carving out a foundation for young black British youths of our generation. This heartfelt and honest window into Tippa's soul, into his history, his rise to fame, is the blueprint of a pioneer's life. Stick to My Roots shows how hardship, sheer talent, and community link founding generations of British culture to the vibrant, world-changing artists who produce fabulous work today. He stayed in his roots, which is why I imagine we are here in this library today. To my shame, is the first time I knew this was Brixton Library. But I can see from the pictures on the wall that this is the right place to do your thing, my brother. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tippa Irie. Tippa.
Yes, sir.
First question. I mean, I've got some on my phone, and we'll get to some of the stuff in the book. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why the book, and why now?
Well, I think it's very important for us as a race and as people to tell our story and to tell it ourselves and be the ones to tell our story. And so I thought it was, after 40 years, 4 decades of making music and traveling the world, going to different parts of the world, seeing different places and experiencing, different things and working with a lot of different artists and also seeing a lot of different places. I just thought it was time now. I mean, people been bothering me for a long time. Said, Tip, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. And when the lockdown came, it kind of was the ideal time, because I knew that the people that I wanted to be in the book wouldn't be working, because a lot of them, people like Ali Campbell from UB40, Maxi Priest, Janet Kay, Jumping Jack Frost, all these people, they were usually on the road. So I knew that if I would take this opportunity now, while I knew they weren't working, because I weren't working, even though I, found other ways to make money and to survive, but it was the perfect time, I felt, to nail down everybody and get the opportunity to basically write the book, and knowing that I could get the people that I wanted to contribute to the book in the book, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. So you talked about finding other ways to survive. You kind of touch on it in the book, but you don't really go too deep.
Yeah. What did I do?
Was there a difficult period? Was there one where you, quite often when I talk to people like this, there's a period and there's a moment, there's a thing that your life is at a kind of crossroads, and you can make a decision about whether you want to.
Well, in our industry, there's different fields, and different ways that you can make money. Obviously, there's publishing, and there's also dub plates, because I'm a sound guy, sound person. So while the lockdown was on, there was a lot of all of the DJs and all of the sound systems were in their house. They weren't playing out, so they used that opportunity to collect music. So I just set up a company called Dub Plate Central, which is basically a dub plate agency. So I just, you call up your friends and say, look, this sound might want a dub, that sound might want a dub plate. So basically I just acted as an agent at the time, and just basically would call people like Lorna, General Levy, Janet Kay, Solo Banton, whoever it may be, and and make a flyer, put it out there, and then all of the sounds would, because it's me, they know I'm trustworthy, so they would send me the money. I would get the dubs, them take my commission, give the artists them their funds, the sound will get their dubs, and everybody's happy. So while I was doing no shows, that's what I was focusing on that. And then obviously I've got a catalog of music. So there's a lot of sound systems that were contacting me for Tippa Irie dub plates. So while the lockdown was on, that's what I kind of used to keep my head above water.
Yeah, that's a great answer, but it's not an answer to the question that I asked you in a way.
Okay.
In the book, we.
But you like the answer, though.
I like the answer because the answer's good. There's nothing today that's bad, right? Everything that you tell us leads to the book, which is why we're here. Okay. So there's no bad answer. But I am going to ask you the question again, right? Okay. But in a different way.
Okay.
You went to school up the road, didn't you?
I did.
Tell everybody where you went.
I went to Beaufoy School. I went to Brockwell School, infant school. I went to Loughborough Primary School, and I went to Beaufoy School in Kennington.
See, one of them schools that Curtis went to, and nobody expected anything to come from Curtis Walker. Nobody expected anything good to come from him either. Was there an expectation when you went to school that you were going to do so? Because in the book, you talk about leaving the school on Friday and having a job on Monday.
What was the question that you said I didn't answer?
I'm going to lead to the question because the question is, and you know the question.
Yeah.
You left the school.
Yeah.
You didn't do any exams.
No, I left with no qualifications.
You left the school on a Friday.
Yeah.
And you had a job on the Monday.
My mum wouldn't allow anything else. Anything. You're not sit down in here. That was the thing. You're not sitting down. So when I left school, I wasn't really worried about it. You know what I mean? Because we had a corner shop, and we used to work in at the corner shop. But my mum was friends with a brother called Joseph Folks, God rest his soul. And the Friday I left school, my mum sat there, mom said, me have a job for you, you know. So I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do, mom? She goes, you're going to do apprenticeship plastering. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll do as I'm told. If you want to stay under the roof, you have to do as you're told. So anyway, I went into the laboring job, and I was rubbish, basically. I wasn't good. But I used to mix cement and carry the cement bags them. That was easy, but it was still hard work. And I don't know if everybody remember in the 80s when we was growing up, snow was snow. So when we used to go at 6 o'clock in the morning, I would be up. 7 o'clock, 7:30, I'd be on the job. And then we used to have to warm up our work clothes we used to have a barrel. And we used to put the empty cement bags them in the barrel and have to warm up our work clothes before we started work. So if you could imagine that, and then, so as soon as I found out that I could sing, I was like, that's enough of this. I like this. So I'm going to follow the route of being a musician. And I said to myself, I have to make this work for me, because this is what I love. This is what I want to do. And I don't want to go back to being a laborer.
You mentioned General Levy, and I've interviewed him about his book as well.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, because the moment at which you know you can make a living at this is when?
Well, when you start getting some papers, you know, when people start, you know, well, what I did, I kind of entered talent competitions, and then every so often I would win, and then you get a little prize, you know, and I thought, oh, this is nice, you know, and then obviously you go into the dances, the blues dance them, and then you're getting a little £2, a little £3, a little £5, and then you start to get better. And then the dances, as the sound system started to get bigger and more people start to come to the shows, the sound man them start to give you a little bit more money. And then, you know, so after a while, if you're doing that Friday, Saturday, you have a little regular income. And then with Saxon, when we were at our peak, it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know, and then certain places up north, their raving nights was on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So we would go up there on a Tuesday and a Wednesday to Leeds and Sheffield and Huddersfield and all these places and do dances. So if you're doing that every week, at the end of the month, it adds up to a living. And so that's what I did.
It's interesting you say that. I remember now, it must have been many, many years ago.
Yeah.
I met Musclehead coming out of the Pink Coconut in Derby.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They used to be one of those clubs in the Midlands. They would have a reggae and soul night.
Yes.
It looked like he had a good night.
He might always have a good night.
You talk about Saxon, and you talk about Saxon, and it's interesting the way that you write the book.
Yeah.
Because you write the book as though you don't think everybody will know what, for many people in this room, is obvious. Yeah. And yet I do have to ask you, what is a dub plate? Yeah. And I do have to ask you, because when I was a kid, Saxon sound system was the biggest sound system in the world, I think. I guess that if you're Jamaica, you wouldn't think that. Yeah. But it seems to me, retrospectively, that much of what you guys were doing was then adopted by Jamaica and other places around the Caribbean. Yeah. It's a really important sound system. And it's a really big thing that you were part of that, surely. Yeah,
I mean, you know, there's different types of a dub plate, you know. Because back in the day, it was more an exclusive Dennis Brown. You know, if you'd get like a D Brown that's not been released, you know, and then you'd have Dennis Brown, Hold On to What You Got, Have You Ever, I'm a Revolution, all these tunes, they were cut and basically they were raw. So raw obviously means they were more, you know, more drum and bass, probably guitar and piano, and that's it. And because if you were the first sound system to get it from Jamaica or whatever, then, you know, back then it was more exclusive. Now the dubplate thing is a bit more commercial, where every sound may have a Chronics tune and play Here Comes Trouble, Here Comes the Danger, and singing, you know, and him mentioning their sound's name. So basically, if you don't know what a dub plate is, it'd be like Tippa Irie singing, "It's good to have the feeling you're the best." Yes. You know that Eddie Nestor is the best. Yes. So basically, it's just you.
How much would that cost me?
Well, for you, Eddie, for you, it might cost you not too much because me like you.
So let's talk, because Saxon is, I mean, I'm guessing everybody in this room knows who Saxon were, who they are, what they've done.
Does anybody don't know who Saxon Sound is? Or
all right, no, that's really important.
One at the back there, all
okay,
right.
Okay.
I use a Rasta man, so I know I lie you tell. It's Natty, looks like Natty B. Is that you, Natty? Hello, my brother. Yeah.
So being a part, and you mentioned people like Maxi, Robin. I mean, my favorite was you know, Colonel. You know what I mean?
Daddy Colonel.
I had a thing for that speed thing,
Yes.
right? But what was it like being part of that? Because everybody there, they did have the feeling they were the best, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, it was just a good spirit, a good vibe. Obviously, you know, when you have 10 heads or 15 heads, especially black man, and trying to get them to think on the same level and have the same mindset, it can be different. It can be difficult. But we just became a family. We were like, you know, after a while, it just became a routine. You know what I mean? It's like you going to work every day at the BBC. You know what you don't know how the day is going to turn out, but you have a platform which we work from. So with the sound on the weekends, obviously it was, you know, we'd meet at Dennis Rowe's house and we'd load up the sound. And then some of us would drive, some of us would get in the sound van, and then we'd go to the venue, offload the sound, you know, set up the sound, get the sound ready, the people would come in, and then we'd do our thing. And then the vibe of each other, that was the special thing. That was the thing that, you know, really created history, because as I said before we started speaking, is the feeding off of each other. Because if one man goes in and he does something and he brings the dance to a level, and you're next in line, you have to try to bring that dance to another level. But then we kind of fed of each other, and once, you know, somebody chatted a lyric, you know, I would automatically know just by instinct what to come in with next. And then if somebody, you know, was writing the lyrics about herb, for instance, you know what I mean?
What's that?
You know, ganja, you know, weed, marijuana. We all used to smoke back in the day. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, you know, we would all write one, and that's how we did it. If Levi...
Did you do the whole song, or did you do the verse?
No, it depends. It depends. It all depends on because there's different dances, different settings. If there's an entertaining dance where there's no pressure, there's no other sound over there, you know, there's no clashing going on, then it's a different vibe to when you're just in a blues dance. But for me, sometimes I'd be on my own, and the sound would string up, and I would be in there from 10 o'clock, and then, you know, at 3 a.m, I'm still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just what we used to do. But you know, I have to emphasize the feeding off of each other, Eddie. Yeah. That's what made us, I think, special.
I'm going to talk to you about collaborations in a little while, but I want to ask you about the highs and lows, because I don't want to run out of time. And what we're going to do is put 10 or 15 minutes aside, and then we're going to get some questions from members of the audience. So if there are things you want to ask specific to the book, but clearly I've read the book and I kind of have an idea of what's going on. I mean, when I speak to you, whenever, you're very jovial, you're very upbeat, but I always get the feeling that there's something going on, which you see in the book, which is clear in the book, right? Yeah. So just talk to me about some of those highs and some of those lows. family-wise, Smiley culture-wise, I imagine those were some really tough times, right?
Yeah, I mean, you go through things in life, you know, and sometimes you don't know what's around the corner, you know, and even with the Smiley thing, you know, for me, it's just somebody, you know, I don't know about anybody else.
Does everybody know who Smiley culture is? I don't want to just take anything for granted. Okay, so Smiley. Right?
Yeah, for him, it was just like somebody, obviously, that I worked with around the sound, and somebody that, you know, you kind of grow up with. So when when people become adults and they're living their life, obviously you're not into their everyday home life and what they're doing in their private life or whatever. I only around them when I'm in the dance.
Yeah, I understand, but I don't want to do that. I want to do how you felt when you heard that he had passed.
Well, it's a natural, for me, it's like, it's a natural thing to be hurt, because obviously it's somebody that you know and somebody that you respect. So for me, it's like, it was the way that I heard it when I knew that was, you know, not true, because one of my brethren them used to, I'd been to the dentist with Smiley, you know, and he was actually there when he was in the dentist, and the way how he was behaving, nobody don't like to go to the dentist, you know what I mean? But the way he was behaving in the dentist, I know that there's no way that he could have taken his own life like that. So whatever he was in or whatever he was into, I don't know, but it was obviously somebody wanted to take him out.
I suppose the reason I'm asking you about Smiley is for most of us, the ones who bust from Saxon, i.e. had big songs.
Yes.
You, Smiley, and Maxi, right?
Yeah.
Those were the three, right?
Yeah, and Levi had a huge tune in Jamaica, My God, My King. That was number
a huge
one.
Tune everywhere.
Well,
everywhere he went, everybody.
There you go.
My King,
So,
him name John Wolf, him inspire me to be a Mike Chanter. Sorry. I forgot where I was there for a second. Please forgive me.
You did quite well there.
But so those are the ones that we knew. That's why I'm asking you that.
Yeah.
You're going from £3, £5, £10, £20, and then you get a big hit.
Yes.
How does the hit change your life? And did you lose yourself?
No.
Because you never let me into that.
Yeah.
Because now you're open to girls are running after you. Are you the guy from the telly? You're getting all of that now. You got money. Don't tell me that never impacted you.
It was nice. It was nice. I mean, obviously, for me, it's like, it's strange, because when we was on the sound, we was getting that anyway. You know what I mean? So from a young age, it was like a little mini Beatle mania kind of thing. So everywhere we went, it was sold out. Everywhere we went, there was girls there. Everywhere we went, we was having fun. You know, so it was just a good time. So when I got the hit now with Hello Darling, you know, it was just more of the same. You know, I'll be honest. And it was I just took it in my stride, because I was kind of used to it, if that makes sense. Because we were at the time, it was just, there was just so much going on and so much things that was happening. For me, it was just, I just took it in my stride. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. You make a big thing in the book about being a man of the people.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's just being humble, I guess. I just like to deal with people, and I'm a people's person. I like to, my sister and my missus and people, they get fed up on me because I always ask them, are you all right? You all right? Because I like to make sure that people are all right. And my manager is the same. I just like to look after people and make sure that people around me and that in my radius, whether it's my kids or my grandkids or whatever, they're all right. They're cool.
You speak very highly of Peter Honeygill,
yes,
with whom you've done a lot.
Yes.
You've done a lot of collaborations, though, haven't you?
Yes.
Funny,
Yeah.
I went to my first UB40 concert the other day, and I did it
Okay.
at the Royal Festival, and I interviewed him. So it's interesting that you mention him.
Okay.
And I asked him
Yeah.
about plank reggae, as I call it.
Okay.
Right? No, because we were
Yeah.
having a proper conversation.
Yeah.
And I said to him about reggae and whatever, and he said people don't like white guys who do reggae like UB40
Yeah.
because we make money.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Because I've always got a sense, and this might be off-grid, because
Yeah.
it isn't in the book,
Okay.
but I've always got a sense that you kind of feel that people who do what you do should be acknowledged more.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all you want as an artist is a fair playing ground. It's a fair playground. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at some of the really talented people in the UK reggae scene, you know, people like Peter Huntingale, Peter Spence, Don Campbell, Barry Boom, Lloyd Brown, you know, all these guys, they're like excellent singers. And those tunes that they make, a lot of them are love songs. They're songs that are polite, they're not slack, they're not talking about, they're not degrading to women, they're not talking about guns and violence. So, you know, and then you also have Janet Kay, you have Carol Thompson, you have Janet Lee Davis, you have Paulette Taja, you have Kofi, you have Winsome, you have all these talented sisters that make radio-friendly music. But if you listen to Magic and Smooth and Heart and Kiss and Capital and all these stations, they don't play their music. So this is what I speak about, and it's the same for somebody like Maccabee, that, you know, and tunes like I'm an African, you don't hear them on the radio, you don't hear them on the stations, and they're not offensive. What they are educational. And because they're that way, they'd rather feed the youths them, because people are like sheep, you know, they get into whatever they're fed. So if you feed them the negativity, then they're gonna gravitate to that negativity. But if you feed them lyrics like I'm an African, that's telling them about their ancestors and what their parents went through and what their grandparents went through, you know, a lot of the times we're not hearing that, not a lot of the time, the majority of the time, we're not hearing that narrative on the radio. And that's what the problem is. So for me as an artist, I just want a fair playing ground for us as artists, for our music to be exposed. Because I heard, even you, one time, I heard you doing an interview with somebody. I think it was a Black History Month and something. But you know when it was? It was when Frankie Paul died. And you played a Frankie Paul tune on your show. And you started to apologize to the listeners them because you were playing a Frankie Paul tune. And I thought to myself, why is Eddie doing that? But it's because your listeners them are not probably used to hearing a Frankie Paul tune. You know what I mean? So you probably thought you had to kind of notify them that, you know what, this is a bit off of the norm, but I'm going to play this tune because this guy is an icon of our music and he's passed away. But I was just thinking, you shouldn't have to apologize. You shouldn't have to say, well, I'm playing a Frankie Paul tune. It's Frankie Paul. He's a legend. He deserves to be played on any station and without no apology, because the music is good and he can sing and it's well put together and it's nice. Just like, you know, Valerie by Amy Winehouse or whoever you want to play. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just having a fair playground for us. And that's all we ask for as UK artists.
The book ticks a lot of boxes because it gives a kind of a history and it gives a context, which is why I say it clearly doesn't presume that everybody who reads it knows everything that many of us take for granted. Who is the book for?
It's for everybody. I mean, obviously, it's the obvious answer. But obviously, it's for my grandkids, you know. It's for my son, my daughter, my family, my sister that's gone, my mom that's gone, my dad that's not here no more. It's for my family first, but then it's also for my race, my people to see my journey, and it also tells a story of what us as black people went through, living in Brixton, living in London, living in the UK, all of the Margaret Thatcher, the New Cross Fire, all these little stories. It tells a Janet Kay's story, Maxi Pre's story, all of these people that were influential in my life. It's all in the book. So it's for everybody across the board, and it's for somebody that's in Timbuktu somewhere that don't know about the UK scene and my scene and reggae music in general, and my culture, my heritage, my family. It's for them.
Yeah, I think reggae is internationally all over, as the song goes. I'm just fascinated by. I think I was surprised at how much you mentioned Lovers Rock in that.
Yes.
It's right at the core.
Yeah, it's
of
a big part.
Tell me why Lovers Rock is so important.
Well, it's like, it's the memories of the dance them, and lockdown, and it's just, and it's like,
Was that when Tippa was at his peak?
Well,
his mental and physical peak?
No, but it's like, if you remember, it's like, it's because I'm a UK artist, if you like, then, I see myself as a world artist, but as a UK artist, I've worked with Peter Huntingale, yeah? And he's like my brother. So for me, Lovers Rock is what he does. So I'm around it all the time. So because and sometimes I'm just there, and he'll phone me, and they phone me. They said, "Tip, well, listen to this. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about this." I said, "Peter, you don't have to play me because you don't make bad music. It's good." So then Lloyd Brown was another person that I connected with. That it was just magic happened, because we done a Stress, which went to #1 in the reggae charts, and he worked with Groove and a Quarter, a label called Groove and a Quarter. These guys are just geniuses when it comes to putting together one drop reggae music. They had a #1 tune from Trevor Dixon called A Woman of Moods. Do you remember that tune? A Woman of Moods. And Vivian Jones, Sugar Love. And then they made Administrators. This is an emergency. And She's My Lady, that tune. And then they did It's a Love Thing for me and Lloyd Brown. And then they did Stress. So they were on like a roll of some really nice Lovers Rock music. So I guess, I was surrounded by it. And Winsome's a Lovers Rock artist. I had a tune called Superwoman with her, which went to #1. Janet Lee Davis, she was amongst fashion. John, anybody that knows John Dubvender, John, their label, A-Class Studios, Fashion Records, they produce a lot of Lovers Rock tunes, and I was amongst that when I did Superwoman, and then I did an album for them called JA to UK volume, I think it was 2 with me and Papa San. So it's just being around all these talented singers. Lovers Rock has just been one of the main parts of my career, and I've had about 2 or 3 #1 reggae tunes with Lovers Rock artists. So it had to be in the book.
Okay, so one more before we open it up, which is essentially, you haven't told us about your best collaboration, and I know in there's a lot. There's some I didn't know. I was like, ooh, what did he do with them? What's your favourite one?
It's got to be it's got to be Will I Am in the Black Eyed Peas. It's like I've done so much with but that was like a learning curve.
So he's a bit interesting, isn't he? Because he's like some sort of
he's a geek,
geeky genius.
He's a geek guy.
Yeah. So how did the link come up?
Well, I was on the road, I was in San Diego, I think. I was doing a tour, and this is another lesson where you have to kind of throw a stone to make something happen for you. Because somebody wanted me to come to America to do a show, and I went out there to do, in fact, it was a little tour of West Coast. And I met this guy called Motivate, who's like a DJ, and he had a studio in the same building as will.i.am. So he said to me, Tip, man, I like this tune, what you do, called Every Day. And it's about weed. Yeah. So I was vocaling the tune for him in the studio. And I went into the studio and I was voicing the tune. And then will.i.am must have walked by while I was in the booth. So he rushed into the room and goes, "Who's this guy?" You know, to the guy. So he goes, "This guy's Tippa Irie from England. Don't you know him?" He's like, "No, but he's dope. He's dope."
Is that because it was about weed? He said it's dope.
Well, no. That's a
sorry,
good one.
Sorry.
That's a good one. He's a comedian.
Sorry.
He's a comedian. He's a comedian. That's a good one, Eddie. But yeah. So and he goes, "He's dope, man. He's dope." So when I came out of the booth, now he's like, "I'm gonna have something for you." So I'm like, "Okay."
So you knew who he was straight away?
Well, I didn't know them. I didn't know him.
You don't know Black Eyed Peas?
No, sir. Because it was like, what it was, at that time, they wasn't huge. There was no Where Is the Love and none of these tunes. All it was, they was quite popular under the underground hip hop. And there was a sister in the group. There was no Fergie in the group at that time. So anyway, I just said, okay, not a problem. And then I was doing a show in San Diego. I remember it was $7 to get in. There was 200 people there that come to see me. And I was doing the show, and then I got a call. And this girl called Shelly, she goes, "Tip, Will's ready for you." So I said, "Okay, he's got a tune." I said, "Yeah, okay." So anyway, I was staying in a place called Laverne, which is like the east of LA. I was working with this group called Better Chemistry. They're like a kind of reggae rock band in Los Angeles. And so I used to go and stay at Dave's house, and I used to stay on the couch. He used to have a studio, so I used to rehearse in his studio, and we used to make music together. And then I used to sleep on his couch. So anyway, I said, "Dave, you got to take me to LA. I got to see will.i.am." So he took me to Los Angeles, and I went to the studio, and he played the tune. So, you know, I'm quick still, but I thought, you know what, Tip? I need to take this tune back to Dave's and live with it. So when I took it back there, I just went, "Cutie, cutie, make sure you move your booty. Shake that thing in the city of sin. And hey, shawty, know you want to party and the way you want." And I think Elephant Man was doing very well at the time. So I kind of took like an Elephant Man style and then wrote that lyric. And then I just stayed up all night. He just basically what they do, they produce the track and they put their vocals down and then they say fill the gaps. So basically that's what I did. So I just went there and just wrote the intro, wrote my parts of the song, and then went back there the next day, and then you just go for it. So I stayed up all night, rehearsed. Because when you get these opportunities, you have to take them. So you have to prepare or prepare to fail. So when you go in there, you want to hit them so that they can't not like it. You know what I mean? So you got to go for it. So that's what I did. I just went in and knocked it out, and he loved it. And then he just mixed it and said, "Tip, I'm going to give you X amount, and then I'm going to give you X amount of publishing." So I was just like, okay. And then I just left it. You know, you just move on. I said, "Okay, thank you," and just left it.
Did you get any money?
Come on, Eddie. But what it was, hang on, I'm telling a story. So, so anyway, I just left it, and then I came back to England, and I was in my house, and then, you know, I saw Where Is the Love come on the TV. And I thought, okay, it looks like these guys have got a deal, and it looks like they're going to blow up. And then they came with this tune called Shut Up, Shut Up, Shut Up, Shut Up. I don't know if you guys remember that tune. And then I said to myself, hey, Mama must be the next single. You know what I mean? And it was. So the next call was, Tippa, we want you to come to Hollywood. I'm like, okay, I think I can do that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I went out there, did the video with them, and then the tune was kind of like top 10 all over the world. So that kept me in work for another 4 or 5 years. So that was a good touch, let's say.
Well done. It's a good story. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here in Brixton. We're here because of this book, Stick to My Roots. It's Tippa Irie's autobiography. In a little while, Tippa will be signing some copies if you'd like your copy signed. It's always difficult when you do this because you want to give a flavour of the person. And I always think when you're doing these types of things, if I can get you to understand a little bit about the person and you like them a bit, then you're more likely to read it, you're more likely to buy it, and you're more likely to recommend it. And I think we like you.
Okay, Eddie, thank you, sir. I respect you, sir.
Right. Have we've got a roving mic, so if there's anybody who's got a question, we can get a few questions asked of Tippa Irie. Any questions?
Yeah, as you're, have you been to Africa?
Oh yes, yes. I went to. In fact, my manager Lynn, she's married to a Kenyan man. So when I was doing a show at the Dub Club in Los Angeles, and that's where I met Lynn and her partner. And they run a charity called March 4th for Kenya Kids. And so they asked me and this guy called Dr. Ringding, who's a German DJ, MC, and he's got a tune called The Needle, which I don't know if you remember, there's a soca tune called The Needle. You might remember that tune, Eddie. It's a soca tune. You're from Grenada. You might remember that tune there. It's called The Needle. And, well, anyway, Lynn was one of the first people to bring me to Kenya. But back in the day, I toured America. I went to Botswana. I was the first reggae artist ever to go to Gambia and play in the stadium there. Yeah, play at a stadium there. And that was a stadium show. That was like the first time I ever... That was, you know, when you feel like you arrive. When you arrive, when you go home to your people. And, you know, when you come off the plane, remember, I was born here. So when you come off the plane and you just see pure black people, you just see, and so when I was I come off the plane, there was soldiers there. So I said, weird, where are them soldiers you come for? Tippa, they come for you. They're there to protect you. So I said, okay. So I had my soldiers to take me to my hotel, my soldiers, them to take me to the stadium. And that was I think it was me and I think Ijaman Levi, that was who was with me. And we played in stadium in Gambia. But I've been to, Botswana was nice. One of my, it was a real eye-opener, Eddie, because you know the mine, you know when you go and you see the mining, you hear about our brothers, them doing work in the mines in Africa. And when I went there and I saw the man them working the minefields, Eddie, so that was that show was the longest show I ever did in my life because they didn't want us to leave. They wouldn't let, and we couldn't tell them, say we're coming off, because they wouldn't allow us to come off. But all they did was work the mines and drink, you know, and it was quite sad to see, but that was their reality. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I've done, you know, to answer your question, I've done a few countries in Africa. The place that I enjoyed most was Gambia. Kenya was nice too.
It's lovely. We've got a question at the front here for Tippa.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. Thank you so much for such a great conversation. I've got like 2 questions.
Yes.
I'll try and bring them down. But I first have to say thank you to Shona for inviting me today. In the year that we're celebrating 50 years of hip hop, in the year that, in last week when I was celebrating Ty, the rapper who passed away in 2020, hearing your stories is just magical, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
My questions are, if you had advice for a young and coming artist, what would that be, given the experiences that you've had? And if there was something about the music industry you would change, what would it be?
Okay, in regards to the young artists, is like, first of all, you have to be able to take criticism. You know, you have to be true to yourself, honest to yourself, and speak to your family, because a lot of the time your family is honest, and they will tell you if you're crap, and tell you if you're not good. And then, you know, so you got to be honest and true with yourself. Join the music union, join, you know, learn and you know, seek out, you know, for all the, you know, the societies that are out there, because it's the music and it's the business. So if you want to survive in the business, PPL, PRS, MCPS, all of these societies. So try to join all of these societies, learn about the music, but make sure you focus also on the admin side of things. I try to make one day out of the week where I kind of do admin, where, you know, it's not my strongest, but that's why I have Lynn, you know. So if you do want to get into the business, make sure you cover all the bases. And if you don't know, try to seek out somebody that does know. What was the other question? Some of the undesirable characters in the business, you know, because there's a lot of them, you know what I mean? There's a lot of sharks out there, and there's a lot of people that you kind of have to be aware of. So if I could change that, something, it would be to get rid of all of the sharks and the vultures and the people, them, and the gatekeepers. That is the main thing. Get rid of the gatekeepers.
We've got a question from Sheba at the front here.
Thanks, Eddie.
Hi, Sheba.
Hi. Well, first of all, I'm just grateful that this isn't taking place in Black History Month.
Okay, yes.
I think that's amazing.
Yes.
And there's just 2 comments I want to make before I ask you a question,
Yeah.
because you said you're a man of the people.
Yes.
And my name is Sheba Montserrat. I'm trying to transform a church in Hackney,
Yes.
along with the Jamaican priest, into a venue, a live show venue. And to launch it, I contacted Tippa Irie out of the blue. I just found his information, contacted him, and he came, and you headlined my variety show. He was so accessible and so understanding, and you really are a man of the people. And I have to say that you chanted out Babylon, out of the building, that the brickwork will never be the same again. Never. Second thing I want to say, why I'm a huge fan of yours, because when I work with young people, one of the things I like to explain is that as a Black British born like yourself, that we are bicultural. We have 2 cultures. And your song, Hello Darling, Hello Good Looking, for me establishes that, because you made a reggae tune with a Cockney accent, and that brings our 2 cultures together. That for me makes you iconic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, alongside the late, great Smiley Culture, who was doing the same thing. But my question is, I know you are humble. I know you're a humble person, but we have positive ego. Is there something in your career that you say, yeah, I can own the title iconic. I'm really proud. I did that.
I guess it was when I got nominated for Grammy for Hey Mama, you know. That was a nice feeling, because at the time, you know, when you do something, you know, somebody just called you to do something, and then you do it. And then the next thing, you know, you're sitting next to, I don't know, Beyonce and P. Diddy and all these people. you know. So for me to be nominated for a Grammy, even though I have a lot of awards from people like Tony Williams, and those awards mean as much to me as the Grammy, you know, because with, you know, can we give a round of applause for Tony Williams, please? Yeah, because a lot of the plaques that I have on my wall, they were given to me by Tony Williams, who worked for the BBC and worked for, you know, these broadcasting organizations, and he, you know, but the Grammy, I would say, being nominated for a Grammy was where I'm say yes, me feel good, me feel proud.
Do you remember who won the category?
I don't. I didn't really business. Me never really business. Them never give it to me. So me just said, sure, all right then. You know, it's like my daughter's here. Hi, Rosh. Yeah, my daughter's here. All my kids are here. And my son here. And she, when I speak to her sometimes, and if I say something, she'll be like, all right then. So now, you know, when I didn't win, I was like, all right then. I saw it go. But it was a nice feeling because you get, you know, calls from companies like Puma. They clothed me, and then they provided the limousine, you know. So all these things, you know, come out of the woodwork. And even touring with the Black Eyed Peas was a nice feeling because obviously you're on, you know, I'd never been on a private jet before, you know. I just used to Ryanair, you know, and EasyJet and the occasional British Airways, you know, so it was nice to sit on a private jet, and, you know, so it was a good feeling to be going to the Grammys to receive my nomination.
Two quick questions, please, and then we're going to have to wrap it up this evening. Have we got
my son? Yeah.
This could be interesting.
It could be. It was. Yeah, I'll stand up. No worries.
This is my son, by the way.
Hello, everyone.
He's handsome.
I knew he was going to say that. So I think Eddie tried to allude to it a little bit, and you kind of didn't answer it. But I think when you talk about the Grammys and the Black Eyed Peas is interesting, and obviously you talk about the Grammys, you talk about the touring. But I think what stood out to me the most is the fact that you got that opportunity because you were sleeping on somebody's couch.
Yes.
And I think what's also important, and I think something that you've taught me, is that it's easy to kind of look at the accolades and look at the good things, but I think it's also the fact that you grinded at periods when it wasn't necessarily the easiest. Like I remember when, and I don't know if you want me to say this, but I remember when I think you was doing like a car kind of, you was driving or something, and you was like, do you know, I've got to do it. And I've got to drive, and then I'm still doing it, but it's to make sure that I can still do this opportunity. And I think the question, I wanted to say that as well, because I think it should be applauded, not only the fact that you've got all of these accolades, but the fact that you never really gave up on following through in what you was doing. And I really respect that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always easy. Like, a 40-year career isn't an easy career to have, and I think those moments are probably more important than even some of the high moments. Yeah. But the question I was going to ask is, what is the toughest moment that you feel like you faced in your career? And that could be anything, but what's the toughest moment?
I guess, I mean, when my sister got killed, you know, in the 90s, so I think I was on tour in America again. I think I was touring with Pato Banton, and we did, and I think it was the first time I kind of got fed up of being on the road for a while. I just got tired, and I said, you know what, I think I phoned Jackie, and then I said, you know what, I'm coming home, because I've had enough of the road, so I'm gonna come home. And then obviously I came home. When I came home, I went straight to my sister's, you know, because that's what I used to do, because I used to have to pass her house before I go home. So when I went there, she came down and she greeted me, you know what I mean, and said, Tip, you come back? I'm gonna say, yeah. And then obviously I ain't seen my missus for like 6 weeks, so you know you gotta go home. Yeah, because it was time. You know. So anyway, I went home. Yeah, it's a natural thing, innit? Anyway, so I went home, and I was, you do what you do, as we do, and then I fell asleep, and then as you do, you turn over and sleep on the side, wherever you want to. But anyway, and then I got a call, that something had happened to my sister, and so I got up and threw myself together, and I went up to Taos Hill, and I saw it was just melee, and then I went to the hospital and I saw my sister, and I dropped to the ground because I knew that my sister was gone. So I tell the story in the book still, but it's like that time. Obviously, I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do music. I didn't want to do nothing. I just wanted to grieve for my sister. And so that's what I did for a while. But then the only way I know how to get over or overcome anything is through music, So I just wrote songs. I wrote a song about her. I wrote a song about my dad. I wrote a song about my divorce. I wrote a song about everything. And, it was just music. So that time when I lost Avril, that was the hardest time in my music career.
In your life?
Life, period. Because that was a tough time for me and my sister, because we just lost our dad, So we lost our dad, and we all flew to Jamaica to bury my dad. And then 6 months later, my sister got murdered, you know what I mean? So that year was like, a nightmare kind of thing. And my mom was obviously still alive. So my mom was like, yo, T, how are we going to get through this one? You know what I mean? Because we just went to Jamaica. All of us went to Jamaica, my sisters, everybody. We went out there, buried my dad, and then we came back. And then, in fact, even when I lost my mom, I was working for you, Eddie. I was at Camden. We was in Camden. We was doing a show. I was doing a show for you at Camden Center. And then, that's when Mum passed away. I remember I was performing, and then I came off. And then I came, somebody called me, and then me and my friend John, we left and went to the hospital, and my mom had gone. So those times, I guess, when you lose somebody is the hardest times. But that 6 months of losing my dad and my little sister in that period, that must have been my hardest time.
In conclusion, I think, have we got one more? Sorry, please forgive me.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Tippa.
Yes.
A fellow East Lake Road person myself.
So okay.
Neighbours as well.
Nearby.
And neighbours, and born and bred Brixtonian.
Okay.
Eddie, you're lucky you've come here now. It's cleaned up. So we've lived through we've lived through what Tippa's been through. I schooled here, and we grew up. Our raving days was done on Saxon and listening to Lorna and everything else. We went to school together. So it is beautiful that we're coming here today to give you your flowers.
Thank you,
someone
darling.
that lived locally, someone that grew with you, that played and talked with all of you, we all need to do this. Our history in this year, which we're saying 70 years of us being here, of Windrush, we are the children, 75 years, we are the Windrush children that are now cementing the stones that our children are going to grow on. So coming to buy your book today, I haven't bought one, I've bought two, because I have a granddaughter as well who need this on her bookshelf. It's going to be something that they need, that when we no longer need to follow the American history books, we need to look at our own history books that you guys have done and saluted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the next 40 years going to be like?
Well, if I get another 25, I'm happy, you know what I mean? But for me, the next, obviously, I'm always putting out music because I won't never give up making music because I love music. I love my job. I love what I do. I look forward to my shows. It's not a chore for me to go and entertain people.
You know how lucky you are to be able to say that?
Yeah.
You do?
I know there's a lot of people out there that's doing jobs that they don't like. They're just doing it and they're just there for the money. You know what I mean? I do music because I love music. Obviously, it's my living, so I have to make a living. I have to make money. You know what I mean? It's part of what the makeup. But obviously, for me, it will just be continuing to do what I do. Now I find another adventure, you know, and me and Mark, we're talking about the next book already. So
you'll do the audio one for this?
Yes, I will.
Because that will take a minute.
Yes.
But actually with your intonation, your vocal skills, it will be good. Because not everybody reads. For some of these young people, they don't know what paper is. They're on Kindle and all kinds of things.
No, I'm going to definitely do that. But you don't know, like we say, it's another business adventure that has to go on with the boss lady there. We talk business, and then we can do that. But no, definitely, I'm going to try and do the audio book. Me and Mark, we're talking about another book, which is basically going to be kind of, hopefully, kind of like talking of my experiences and giving the youths them all the pitfalls, what they could face in the music business and the industry. Yeah. So we're going to try and do that.
But we didn't touch on that, but it's certainly in the book how you see yourself as part of the OG generation, the elder generation as they call it. So let's not do that. We'll give you space because we want people to come back here to buy the next book as well. Right?
Okay.
Do me a favor, right?
Yes, sir. Just
go over there and press pause. Whatever you were telling Q, whatever you're telling your manager to, right? Yeah. And while Tippa's doing that, I'll just say at the end of this, what we're going to do is we'll get Tippa to sign copies of your book, maybe take some selfies. But as I said earlier on, it was one of the songs where I reached out to him over the thing and I said, please give me a copy of I Am an African. You've heard the a cappella version. I didn't feel, beautiful though it was and incredibly well performed though it was, Tippa, that gave it and did it justice. So with your indulgence, I give you, with his book, Stick to My Roots, singing one of the ones that I think is really, really good and should get played. And if I do play it, I won't apologize for it, Tippa. Ladies and gentlemen, Tippa Irie.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we can groove this. I'm missing, say, I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in London, so you know I know where I'm coming from. I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in London, so you know I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm going. It's a positive energy. Keep on showing respect myself, respect my roots, and respect my ancestor. Can't forget Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and Robert Nestor. Teach us to unify and pray for one another. Teach us to unify and love one another. One heart, one aim, and one destiny. And that's how we want in our community. So I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in London, so you know I know where I'm coming from. I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in London. Listen lyrics. Because I'm coming from the natural continent, the motherland with natural resources, minerals and diamonds. Anything you plant, well you know it have to grow. Africa, it is a place where everybody want go. Like Addis Ababa, in Ethiopia, Lagos, Nigeria, Nairobi, Kenya, Azerbaijan, in the Ivory Coast. Well, and them the place that me want visit the most. My ancestors were captured, taken to Jamaica by the British and Spanish colonial masters. In 1962 them get them independence, and we fly go my Britain for some pound and pence. So I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so you know I know where I'm coming from. I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so you know I know where I'm coming from London, place on the Cockney slang, place on the lovers rock, rhyme and the jungle is place for the Roman Queen, there a Buckingham, fish and chips and egg and bacon, rainy, cloudy, enough taxation, house of common and enough politician and a lot of institutional racism. So I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so you know I know.
Answer the racism for the swift.
Thank you.